enter Quest public software or public sector software. Tell us how you're snapping into all this and enabling this fantastic capability to happen.
And sure. One of the beautiful things about cloud is that it gives us capabilities that normally in the legacy fashion were very difficult to pull off. So now we can do things at scale at the push of a button. That's good and bad, both from a service delivery, but also a consumption and cost model. But honestly, that at scale is very important. We looked at it two ways, and that is first, there's getting there and then staying there. Getting there is the lift. We used to call it lift and shift, re-platform. But honestly, once we got there, we realized that we can now do things at scale from a data perspective. So at Quest, for instance, we made a lot of investments around governance. So Zero Trust addressed a lot of security issues we had, both on-prem, moving into the cloud, identity management. Those are the building blocks. But then we started looking, well, how are you actually going to do governance, not just from identity, but also for data? We've now moved data sets that were usually enclosed, very well formatted, understood databases on-prem into the cloud. We've seen what can happen when you don't secure a bucket properly, for instance. We've seen what can happen when the right privilege or the wrong privilege is assigned to an end user who shouldn't have access to specific data points, for instance. So think of all the internal data that really is significant for a citizen, for an agency, and how that data can be misused. So governance is critical for us. So part of governance is not just the identity, but it's the identification of that data. What does a data pipeline look like, for instance? Which applications should be able to access that data? Do the service principles being used by that application to pull in and push data across that pipeline, do they have the right privilege? So we focus on governance, both on the identity side as well as the data side. And we do a lot of blocking and tackling under the surface, so like the duck in the water, so to speak. But the important thing, I think, for agencies, for everyone in this conversation this morning or listening to this, is that if you haven't considered the governance equation as you're moving to the cloud, you're asking for issues. And all you have to do is do a quick Google search on unsecured data in the cloud or buckets, and you'll be surprised what you actually find. So we've made tremendous investments there, and we continually work with our partners in the federal space to actually get them more secure.